There we go. I'll get used to this stuff yet. I wanted to jump on tonight and talk about um, Lori Ballo. Again, how evil is she? Do we know? I think we've all been wondering, um, did she spearhead this whole thing? Was she behind all the deaths of JJ, Tylee, Charles, Tammy? Was she behind all that? What do you guys think? Um, or was it Chad? But how evil can she be? Now, a friend of hers got on screen and or got on trial today or yesterday, I think it was, and testified. Okay, now this person had testified in the grand jury. Um, Now, just a side note, I was watching The Lawyer You Know earlier, and he kind of talked about the same situation. And you do not have to give your entire testimony in a grand jury. Okay. Um, you answer their questions. You don't have to tell everything you know in a grand jury. It's basically just enough to find out should this go to trial, right? So she had given a testimony. She didn't, evidently, yesterday she came up with more, okay, that she didn't say in the grand jury. Now, kind of the backstory is her name is Audrey. She was selected by Chad. He asked her to be a friend to Lori because he said he can't always be there with her, and he wanted Audrey to be a friend. Okay. So she had like 5 different states her and Lori had traveled in 1 year. I think it was 2019. 5 different states, and that's a lot of traveling. A lot of flying. She was in Hawaii and Missouri, I guess they went to because they wanted something new that I did not know is that the LDS people believe that when Jesus comes back, he's going to come to Missouri. And there's a lot of history with the LDS church in Missouri. So they wanted to go see history, artifacts, whatever, for the LDS church there. So that was one of the things that they were doing. And then the last place that she went to, now during the last couple times, she was getting really just uncomfortable with the casting sessions, okay? Casting out the demons thing and all this. And then one of the last times that they were together, I don't know if it's before they got to Rexburg. I think it was, or maybe after they got to Rexburg. I'm not sure, but Lori told Audrey that Tammy had a dark spirit, and so they needed to cast it out. And I guess that Audrey had met Tammy, and she had met Charles as well. And she said she liked both of them. They were both nice people. So Lori flew back home to Rexburg, and the next day, Audrey went to Rexburg. And what I'm going to do is play for you a clip of what Audrey said that Lori told her. And I'm going to play the clip by Nate Eaton. He's a reporter. awesome guy. He has been doing, so if you don't follow him, I encourage you to follow him. He has been doing nightly reviews. He's actually at the trial. So he's been doing nightly reviews, and he gets the audio recordings, and he goes over, he plays bits and pieces, and we are just going to play a small part. I just want to play the part that Audrey talked about. So let's go ahead and listen to that. And
so the prosecutors ask their question. Jim Archibald gets up to cross-examine Audrey. He says, isn't it true that Chad told you that you were married to Jesus? You were Jesus's wife? And she says, yes. Isn't it true that Chad told you he was Methuselah and James the apostle?
wow, guys.
Yes. And that Lori was married to him and she was named Elena while he was named James? Yes. Isn't it true that Chad told you that he's lived for millions of years in different lives in portals and whatnot? And she said, yes. And he said, why did you believe this? It made you feel good, right? It made you feel good. Everybody wants to feel important. It made you feel cool. She said, yeah, it did. She moved to Missouri because that's where Jesus is going to return. Archibald asked her about that. You must be a really spiritual person. You must really believe all this stuff. You went to these conferences that weren't sanctioned by the LDS Church, but you still went and you participated. She said, yeah. He said, during all this time, you said you didn't feel that you were feeling something was wrong in your chest. When Tammy said that Charles was possessed by a demon, did you call the police? No. When Lori said, not Tammy. When Lori said Charles was, no. Did you call the police when you asked about Tylee? And Lori said, oh, Tylee doesn't talk to me much anymore. No. Did you call the police when they were talking about Tammy being possessed or being in trouble? No, never called the police. Well, why didn't you call the police? So Jim Archibald is trying to poke holes in her testimony to say, you're a nice person. You're a little naive, a little gullible. You can kind of tell, and she admitted that. Why didn't you do anything? Again, she said, I just didn't know what to do until it was, I guess, too late. So we've had the prosecutor's question. We've had the defense cross-examine. Now it's time for the prosecutors to kind of, I don't want to say clean things up, but tighten things up. You know, couple minutes, finish it up, whatever. That's not what happened. They get up and they ask a simple question about how did yours and Lori's relationship fizzle. And Audrey goes on to say that Lori threatened to kill her and cut her up and bury her in a place no one could find her. I'm going to play you the exchange. It's about 7 or 8 minutes. I want to play through what happened when she shared about this experience and then what Jim Archibald did. And you can hear he is frustrated with her, that she's bringing this up at the very last minute, that it was never brought up during the grand jury when she was a witness, and that it was not brought up during the original examination. So this is Audrey Baratario on the stand today.
She died. Yes. Okay. And I think, well, I mean, they were working on their own doing those things. Yeah. I think defense counsel kind of asked you about this friendship and why you terminated it. And you said that you were scared or in fear. Why was that?
Because of a conversation.
And who was the conversation with?
Lori.
Did she make threats to you?
She did.
What did she say? What threats did she make to you?
Your Honor, I think this is outside.
She threatened to kill me.
I'd object. Hold on just a minute. It came up on cross-examination, so it's within the scope of cross and proper redirect. Ms. Rawlings, you can re-ask the question.
What's the time and place of this conversation?
And I think, Audrey, you indicated this was when defense counsel asked you why you ended the friendship, and that was in what month?
In October 2019.
Okay.
Yes, I had already made plans to leave because I had prayed about it and felt like I needed to leave and end the friendship. And I was leaving early the next morning. And Lori and I were the only ones in the hall in her place at the time. And I told her that I was going to go upstairs and pack my bag and just go to bed early because I didn't want to spend more time with her. And as I went to go and do that, I asked her the question, is there anything weird going on that I don't know about? And she said, no. What do you mean? And I said, I don't know anything. And she said, no. So I took her to her word because I'm a trusting person. And as soon as I turned to start to go up the stairs, she started laughing. The kind of laugh as if you're laughing at someone or think something's hilarious. And she said to me, you're so naive and too trusting. You're like a little child. You'll believe anything anyone would tell you. And she said, you think the world is all unicorns and rainbows. You go around helping people and serving them. Well, I've got news for you. Not everyone's a good person. And not everyone can afford to be so nice and kind. And then she said that
So I want to just focus on what threats she made to you.
she threatened to kill me.
Okay. Did she say how?
Yes. She said that she would cut me up. And something about that she wasn't in the mental place to do that, but that she would get herself in that place to be able to do it. But that she didn't want to have to because it'd be so messy and there'd be so much blood. And then bleach and something about trash bags. And that she would bury me where no one would ever find me.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Rawlings.
Can I recross on that?
Wow, huh, guys? Crazy. I mean, you hear all that. So what do you think? I mean, do you think that Lori actually said that? It was almost like when she was talking about what Lori said to her, and she said she went to go walk up the stairs and Lori started laughing. It was almost like I could see Lori doing that. You know how in the beginning, like she was so giddy, and it's almost like I could visualize her doing that. Do I think she would murder anyone? But I don't know. I would really like to know if Audrey stayed there that night, because I don't think I would. I think I would have tried to get out of there. I don't know if that would have set Lori even more. I don't know, but my goodness. I would not have felt safe, and I would not have slept the entire night if I had been her. So, um, you know, how she said, "You're naive. You go out and you do things for people and you help others." Well, excuse me, isn't that part of what church is? I mean, come on, what it's supposed to be anyway. You're supposed to help people. And wasn't Lori supposed to be um help lead, help make leaders of women and help lead the 144,000? Well, how does she think she's gonna do that? She's got to help people, right? Um, and I just think about the fact that Audrey said it was just her and Lori at Lori's house. So I'm telling you, she said she didn't have a good feeling about the relationship, all of that, and obviously she was accurate. You know, if this did happen, um, keep in mind that, the attorney was upset because this didn't come out in the grand jury. But again, if they didn't ask the right questions in the grand jury, then she didn't tell them. Okay. So, I mean, really, as a witness, you're not allowed to add. You have to answer the questions as they ask them. You're not, for the most part, allowed to add to. So if they didn't ask the right question like they did this time, you know, um, then, they can't blame her for it not coming out in the grand jury. Not to mention that, like I said, according to Peter Tragos, lawyer, they do not need to do that. So they don't have to give full testimony at the grand jury, everything they know. Was it a key piece of of evidence? Yeah, probably. Um, but you know, the fact that she was, oh, crying, I believed her tears and everything. Um, I mean, it seemed genuine. They said that Lori, how did she respond during all this? Um, I guess she went from having her hands like this to putting them down on the table and just staring at Audrey, like not taking her eyes off of her, just staring at her. So I don't know if that was meant to frighten her to get her to stop talking or whatever. But at that point, you're not going to shut up. Um, what's interesting to note is at the beginning of Nate's broadcast, he showed Audrey arriving to court. And he showed everyone outside at the beginning of court. They all have to wait outside until I think 8 o'clock when they open the doors. And Audrey showed up with a security guard for protection. So I do believe that this happened. And I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think. There's so much going on in this trial, and hopefully we don't have too much more left. But what do you think? I mean, do you think Lori is guilty? Do you think Chad is behind it all? Do you think Audrey was telling the truth, or do you think she made this up? What are your thoughts? Let me know. I want to know. I really want to know. Put it in the comments, and while you're down there, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I want to build up our podcasts, build up our channel, so that we can have some really good conversations when we go live, and have awesome member conversation live. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here for tonight, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.